Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So not too much to write home about today with regards to XRP price or the rest of the crypto market for that matter. We are not seeing too much momentum. There's low volume right now. XRP's trading at about $1.02, which is not bad, I suppose. Down a little bit on the day. Let me throw it on the hourly real quick here. You guys can see we are making our way up on the hourly. Of course, we did reach a high of about $1.07 for XRP, and we've just been kind of trading in this channel for a little while now. Bitcoin price, let me bring up Bitcoin real quick. Just under $40,000, so the same kind of thing we're seeing for Bitcoin on these smaller time frames. We are making higher lows, and so the next step to make higher highs, so to get above that $40,000 mark, that would be good. Not going to dwell on the price too much today. I wanted to get to this, guys. So apparently that meeting that was supposed to be scheduled has been canceled. This is the Sunshine Act meeting. It has been canceled. So I did a video just the other day with regards to Stefan Huber's prediction that we could see a settlement soon, but the Sunshine meeting has been canceled. So that looks bad for his forecast, and he just posts a screen grab here just to show that the Sunshine Act meeting has indeed been canceled. Nevertheless, he did have a lot of interesting insight as to the SEC case with regards to Ripple. He posted a tweet thread, and I did talk about it in a video. I will link that video up here if you guys didn't see it. There were some other people giving some opinions on Twitter, and so I went over all of that in that video to just kind of gauge as to where we could be, perhaps in the not too distant future. We know this SEC lawsuit has been painstakingly difficult for XRP hodlers, and I'm sure the people at Ripple as well. I wanted to bring this up to you guys. This from Jeff at ISO_XRP here on Twitter. Let me play you this clip real quick. This is Brad Garlinghouse from Consensus.
Right now, we're in that discovery phase. You know, lots of letters, lots of responses, and you know, the SEC and Ripple kind of fighting about the discovery stuff. You know, what I think has become obvious to a lot of people across crypto, and you know, frankly, we said this when this lawsuit was first filed, is this is about more than just Ripple. This is about more than just XRP. It really does have implications for all of crypto here in the United States. And I think everyone here today at Consensus, you know, we're here because we believe in the future around blockchain. We believe in the future of crypto and how these core infrastructure technologies can address transactions in lots of interesting ways. It's clear to me that there's a massive gap in leadership here in the United States.
So we talked a little bit about the discovery phase and, you know, the fact that the SEC is battling it out with Ripple's lawyers in court. But, you know, it's a matter, at the end of the day, it's a matter of the real world utility that cryptocurrency is going to lend to countries like the United States. And if the United States wants to benefit from that, they will have to jump on board and allow these cryptocurrency companies to work. And I'm sure there is going to be a framework. I mean, they can't just go out. Well, I mean, they can just go out, but, you know, the government is not going to let these cryptocurrencies have free reign. So at the end of the day, it's going to benefit the country, the government, and the people of the United States. Brad Garlinghouse obviously mentioning that point, but obviously also sounds a little bit frustrated because of this. Now, XRP Crypto Wolf posted this. This is an article from A&B Crypto with regards to the lawsuit. Now the SEC wants Ripple to produce these XRP-related documents. So more back and forth here. The SEC has now filed a new motion before the court of Judge Sarah Netburn, a motion requesting an order permitting additional depositions. What's more, the agency is also asking the court to compel Ripple to search the records of more custodians, while also demanding that the defendants produce records of post-complaint XRP transactions and its lobbying efforts. The aforementioned filing, the sheer scope of it, was met with a lot of surprise by many in the community, especially since there were some rumors of a possible settlement after the telephone conference on Friday. According to the SEC submission, its request for additional discovery is in proportion with the needs of the case, with the agency adding that the key components of Ripple's unlawful distribution of XRP was diffused through multiple employees. The SEC, the motion went on to argue, wants to obtain critical information on 1, the creation and promotion of an XRP trading market, and 2, Ripple's communications with market participants to ascertain whether Ripple offered investment contracts under the Howey test. Now, Jeremy Hogan has commented on this, XRP Crypto Wolf, quoting Jeremy Hogan in this tweet here. Looks like the SEC is ramping up its phishing expedition because they're scared of the fair notice defense. I sense they don't feel they have enough to defeat that defense at the moment, so time to throw out a phishing net? Question mark. Crypto Crypto down here saying, yes, definitely phishing. This lawsuit has been a farce and phishing expedition since the very beginning. You don't submit a lawsuit unless you have very sufficient evidence to warrant one. And who the F approved this lawsuit in the first place? I don't know how that works, but I mean, somebody must have approved it. XRP Blondie here saying, why is it taking the judge so long to present a verdict? Maybe she is leaving us in suspense. It's clear to see that Ripple did not have enough fair notice, so it should be a clear case. You know, a lot of people here in the XRP community obviously getting very frustrated because we want to see our XRP moon. Well, you know, we're at the mercy still of a spec market, so even if we did get the results that we're looking for, I think that we would see an initial burst for XRP price. I don't know if it would necessarily be sustained, just because, again, we're still in a spec market. So it would be great for XRP hodlers. We could even get the price of XRP even higher than it currently is, perhaps, you know, mirroring some of the other cryptocurrencies that we have seen kind of take off since November. Remember, guys, XRP, at the time that the lawsuit was dropped, was in and around here, so it had already seen this leg up. Then we got thwarted by the SEC, causing this kind of movement. We tried to move our way up. There was another rejection there, and then the pump group, finally we found equilibrium here, but this wasn't until late January, early February of 2021. So remember this. If I bring up Cardano, for example, you guys can see at that same period of time, November, Cardano moved up, retraced a little bit, but then just kept moving, and yeah, it's painful, but this was in and around the same time that XRP found its equilibrium. So we can see, as an example, Cardano rallied about 370% in that period of time. And we bring up XRP back on the chart, and XRP, if we started here, only rallied about 50%. Okay, this was about mid-November to about early February, so I'm taking those same measurements here for XRP. Of course, that volatility because of the lawsuit compared to Cardano ADA, a very clear upward trajectory. So a settlement would give us some clarity on price, and we could see a bit more of a ramp up for XRP. Now, JungleLink mentions this. It's still early, but to date, I have yet to hear anything intelligent, new, or particularly insightful from Gary Gensler since he has taken the chair position at the SEC. I have a feeling we may be dealing with Clayton 2.0, unfortunately. Free American Spirit down here saying, I told you Chairman Goober will just double down. They won't settle until he tries every dirty trick he can. Then the only reason he will settle is to save face and not to provide precedent to future companies they sue. I would prefer going all the way for a ruling. JungleLink down here clarifying I'm not really commenting on Ripple particularly, just his approach to crypto in general. I still say this settles. It's just a question of when. Anders L agreeing, yes, it is a bad start. So is Gary Gensler basically just a J. Clayton 2.0? Well, we're going to examine this. I mean, I don't think that Gary Gensler necessarily has a particular underlying motive to throw Ripple under the bus. You know, we heard some of these lectures that he was presenting at MIT to MIT students that, you know, Ripple and XRP can facilitate cross-border payments. He understands that they're quick, efficient, environmentally friendly. I don't think he has a problem with the technology, but is there more than meets the eye here? Should we be worried? As worried as we should have been with Jay Clayton. Okay, so let's get into this. Stefan Huber also posted this. I think I should also share critical things. This speech by Gary Gensler on May 20th somehow makes me feel uncomfortable. So if you're asking a lawyer, accountant, or advisor, if something is over the line, maybe it is time to step back from the line. He goes on to say, remember that going right up to the edge of a rule or searching for some ambiguity in the text or a footnote may not be consistent with the law and its purpose. There's an old saying, when I see a bird that walks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, I call that bird a duck. But at the same time, it may also be said that it is simply a fact that well over 90% of all cases with the SEC end in settlement. Estimate of settlement rate supported an aggregate rate of over 90% of filed cases. So this from this source here, scholarship.law.cornell.edu. So he's sourcing these facts here. So the quote does not have to contradict a settlement. Major Danger here asking, have you listened to his hearing today in front of Congress? And this was posted just yesterday. He basically reinforced the SEC's position is to bring a reckoning to crypto through enforcement. Also said SEC benefits from money by enforcement penalties and settlement. And Stefan Huber says, no, I have not heard. But if he wants to do that, he has to go for a settlement. The risk to disempower his authority by a fair notice decision would be much too big. If he wants to assert himself, he has to settle. Otherwise, he he will become a mere spectator in the field of crypto. A lot is on the line here, and what Major Danger's talking about is this article here. I also saw it from XRP Crypto Wolf here on Twitter. Here's what Gary Gensler had to say during an oversight hearing held by the House Committee of Appropriations. Gary Gensler, the chairman of the SEC, told Democratic Congressman Mike Quigley that there are many cryptocurrencies that fall under the federal securities laws. You are right to say that there are many crypto tokens that do come under the securities laws, and our agency is trying to enforce the law. But there's thousands of tokens, and we've only been able to bring 75 actions, and there are others currently that are non-compliant. In his prepared testimony, Gensler wrote that the asset managers that invest in unregistered securities could come under scrutiny as well. The SEC has been consistent in its communication to market participants and those who use initial coin offerings to raise capital or to engage in securities transactions must comply with federal securities laws. Asset managers that invest in these assets may come under securities laws too. He also discusses down here about working with Congress to regulate exchanges. Let's not forget, guys, only a few short years ago, cryptocurrency was still very much the Wild West. And so these are growing pains. We're in this stage now where Gary Gensler has been put into this space, and it's basically a mess. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's anarchy, and he's trying to kind of wrangle, he's trying to kind of put cryptocurrency in a box and, you know, figure out a way to do this. And so, I mean, you know, as bad as this sounds, and, you know, even to Jungle Inc.'s comment here about, where was it here? Jungle Inc.'s comment that, you know, he hasn't seen anything particularly insightful from Gary Gensler at this point in time. I think Gary Gensler is still trying to work on a way to kind of take out the bad actors and to allow other cryptocurrency companies to thrive. Now, when we talk about Ripple, of course, that lawsuit was dealt to them before Gary Gensler took office, and Gary Gensler has gone on the record, said, look, I'll leave it for the courts to decide. We do also have Hester Peirce that we shouldn't forget about. She is very pro-cryptocurrency, and she is, you know, on board at the SEC to work with Chairman Gensler in order to, you know, make regulations make sense in the United States. So I don't think it's all bad. I know it kind of sounds a bit harsh and a bit aggressive, and a bit like Gary Gensler wants to take down any company that's not complying and, you know, to kind of stifle innovation in the meantime. But I think it's a lot more nuanced than that, and I don't actually think he has bad intentions. That's kind of what I'm getting from this. Let's look at this, though. Testimony before the Subcommittee on Financial Services and General Government, U.S. House Appropriations Committee. This coming from James Rule, XRP. Here is what Gary Gensler said about crypto assets in particular. So this is from the SEC's official website here from just yesterday, May 26, 2021, from Chairman Gary Gensler. All right, and if I scroll down here, there is a section highlighted right over here about cryptocurrency, so you guys can see crypto assets. These first few paragraphs, Gary Gensler is just kind of giving out a history of what has been happening in the crypto space. I wanted to start it from here. Many of these tokens are investment contracts under the securities law. Over the years, the SEC has brought 75 cases to the area. The SEC has been consistent in its communication to market participants and those who use initial coin offerings to raise capital or to engage in securities transactions must comply with the federal securities laws. Asset managers that invest in these assets may come under securities laws too. There are many challenges and gaps for investor protection in these markets. Tokens currently on the market that are securities may be offered, sold, and traded in non-compliance with the federal securities laws. Furthermore, none of the exchanges trading crypto tokens has registered yet as an exchange with the SEC. Altogether, this has led to substantially less investor protection than in our traditional securities markets, and to correspondingly greater opportunities for fraud and manipulation. The Commission has prioritized token-related cases involving fraud or other significant harm to investors. So that's an interesting comment there, considering, you know, the SEC has taken down Ripple. Let's not forget, though, that this could be a good thing, because let's not forget this SEC lawsuit was happening before Gary Gensler took office. And now that Gary Gensler's in office, he is saying that the Commission has prioritized token-related cases involving fraud or other significant harm to investors. When it comes to Jay Clayton's decision and the old administration at the SEC, I have a feeling that that was something personal. either something personal or something very politically motivated to take down Ripple specifically. I personally do not think Gary Gensler has that same opinion of Ripple, and therefore I have a feeling that he is perhaps likely to view Ripple in a different way than a lot of these cryptocurrencies that I think he's talking about here, involving fraud, for example. I don't think Gary Gensler thinks that Ripple is a fraudulent company and looking to swindle investors. So this, to me, guys, is actually quite positive. It goes on to say, additionally, crypto lending platforms and so-called DeFi, decentralized finance platforms, raise a number of challenges for investors and the SEC staff trying to protect them. The SEC also is seeking comment on crypto custody arrangements by broker-dealers. I look forward to working with fellow regulators and with Congress to fill in the gaps of investor protection in these crypto markets. So remember, I was saying just yesterday, look at how many cryptos are in the space. Over 10,000 different cryptocurrencies. And, you know, I just talked about one the other day, DeFi 100 here. Let's look it up real quick. DeFi, not that we're going to get a lot of information from this, but DeFi 100 token, these guys straight up came out and said, we are a scam and we are swindling you. And even now, right now here on CoinMarketCap, they have listed this. We have received multiple reports that this project has exited as a scam. Please exercise caution. So now CoinMarketCap is privy to this. And so I think this is a classic example of the kind of thing that Gary Gensler wants to protect. What wants to, you know, at least say he wants to protect investors from. And I know we feel like we're being dealt a bad hand on purpose because Ripple is in court with the SEC. Guys, remember, it wasn't Gary Gensler who brought on the SEC lawsuit with Ripple. It was Clayton. And just because Gary Gensler isn't doing something about it right this second doesn't mean that he is not favorable to companies that are actually doing something in the real world with regards to, bettering the world with cryptocurrency. He is focusing on these scams, essentially stealing people's money, picking up and leaving. And so I'm optimistic. You know, I do think that the case will settle. We heard in that statement here, I think it was from Stefan, that yes, that 90% of cases do settle. And here is the link. He posts the link here to reinforce that. I do think Ripple's case will settle. I do think it is likely. Statistically, it is possible and probable. Team Digital here asking, Working Money Channel, another hint, the case is settled. Well, I don't know if the case is settled right now, but he is pointing this out. Brad Garlinghouse said at Consensus 2021, the likelihood that Ripple is a public company is very high at some point. And well, anyway, let me read you this. He's basically insinuating that Ripple will go public once this lawsuit has cleared up. Let me go down here. According to Garlinghouse, the plans first launched in early 2020 will have to wait until enforcement action from the SEC finds a solution. He said the likelihood that Ripple is a public company is very high at some point. In the middle of an SEC lawsuit, you know, we need to get that closed out. In his recent interview with CNBC, he said that XRP has a zero inflation dynamic, yada yada, all the XRP has ever been created, right? Even so, Garlinghouse also announced that the good news is that the court has approved Ripple's request. The good news was that the court did grant Ripple's motion. All we've asked for 2 or 3 years is that regulatory clarity, and so I think this is progress. Brad Garlinghouse, very confident that Ripple will come out of this, and what they've been asking for this entire time is the regulatory clarity. It is becoming very apparent that Ripple is going to go public, that they will launch an IPO on the stock market, but of course they got to close down this lawsuit first. So they are highly motivated to settle this case. I do think Team Digital is onto something here, and the SEC does close out 90% of cases in settlement. So is Gary Gensler as bad as we think he is? I don't think so, guys. I really don't. I really don't. I do think he was kind of dealt a bad hand coming into this with regards to cryptocurrency. Let's not forget, we are right on the precipice of changing an entire system that is going to include a brand spanking new asset class. Gary Gensler, very rule and procedure oriented. And let's not forget, the SEC lawsuit against Ripple was not brought on by him. It was brought on by Clayton. So I'm still optimistic, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.